Well, hello friends. My name is Diogo. I work in security engineering at Canonical, and I'm here again at the Ubuntu Summit to talk about one of my favorite topics, Latin. Just kidding. Latin was so last summit. Today, I'd like to talk about something that I see in the cybersecurity community, which is how to balance the scales of the things that we are doing, both sides. So, as I said, I work in security engineering, and when I'm talking about candidates, I tend to describe my work as clashing with the never-ending ocean of vulnerabilities. For somebody working in security, discovering an original vulnerability is a big feather on their cap. They get a bunch of snazzy names: regression, leaky vessel, terrapin. We see discovering a vulnerability as an accolade, and rightfully so. Whole events have been built around it like Pwn to Own. But what about the other side of the equation? So right now, can any of you name the person who developed and tested a fix for those three vulnerabilities? There's a bit of a perception imbalance in our industry between those that find the monsters and those that slay them. A discoverer is insightful, cunning, resourceful. A fixer is doing what they're supposed to do, their job, sometimes under very significant pressure. So allow me to paint a vivid picture. This came from a report from Anthropic that is very recent. Can you see the gap? I'll highlight it. There. The difference, some of these numbers are not like the others in orders of magnitude, and AI made that gap much, much wider. So allow me to oversimplify the issue. On the attacker side, this is more or less how it looks. A researcher. You conduct research, you create a POC, in that box something happens, perhaps some emails and back and forth, and then you get a CV and an advisory. On the defender side, sometimes it looks like this. Sometimes it looks like the tube map from London. It's stuff happening all over the place. The bar is different, the bar is higher here, so what can we do to further acknowledge and value the fixers? This is something that speaks to the sustainability of open source. How do we keep people interested in navigating this difficult kind of work? What I'll suggest is a bit like sugary cereal. Part of a healthy breakfast, but not the whole thing. We still need a bunch more parts. So let's start with a very simple one, acknowledgement. As humans, we like to feel seen and have our efforts recognized. Some companies maintain a Hall of Fame, but it's a bit harder when the presence is a GitHub repository. So making use of the credit section when we publish a CVE is a simple, durable way of acknowledging someone's work. Same with crediting them explicitly on the advisory. This is simple enough and can even be done retroactively. Do ask me about the canonical CNA. Next, dual boons. FFmpeg hit the nail on the head. Create incentives to contribute. It's open source. The code is right there. Maybe if you're operating in a sort of a bounty, say, oh, there's a small fee if you submit a patch. If you submit a patch with your research and we accept it outright, great. Recognize that fixing it is as important as finding it. Yes, the patches still need to be validated. Maybe somebody can send in a bad patch, but it can help shorten the loop if you have something to start from. And last, there's throwing the veritable coin through something like thanks.dev, where you can contribute to open source projects and their maintenance. Maintainers are in short supply, and this can be an important motivational boost. Look, there's us. And we do contribute through thanks.dev to a lot of the dependencies that we have at Canonical. So this is an excerpt from a blog that was published just this Tuesday by Daniel, who leads curl. Aside from the Linux kernel, this is arguably one of the most visible and well-structured open source projects in the world. And they are also feeling the pressure. And imagine if a project that is as well known as theirs feels it. Imagine how it feels if you are a small maintainer of a small project that ends up being important. I won't use the XKCD comic here because it's done to death, but you get the gist of it. So what I want to say with this is be kind to your maintainers, all of them, not just the well-known ones, those that undertake the tasks, as Daniel says that, we act solely in the interest of making curl as good as possible for the world and curl users, which, again, as this is a Witcher themed talk, does align with this. The world is full of evil, so it's sufficient to stride ahead and destroy the evil encountered on the way, and that way rendering a service to good. The rest takes care of itself, and when we think of our maintainers that selflessly maintain open source, this is what they're doing, contributing to a better world of open source software. And that is all I had for you. I hope that together we can do more to acknowledge the people that put in the work and do the fixes so that we can sustain our very own open source software valley of plenty. Thank you, friends. Enjoy the rest of the summit.